Hello, friends, man. Welcome to the debut episode of Heavywater 77. All things, everything Styx, man. We're going to be doing album reviews, rankings, bios, and just talking about great memories we've had with this band. Going to have some cool guests on now, sharing their knowledge with the band. It's always nice to have, great minds think alike, because this is a great band. I love talking about it. And just all kinds of stick news and anything else sticks wise we can think of, man. But before we go any further, my name is Jerry CP. I've been on a few podcasts. We'll get to those later. But when I thought about this show, I couldn't think of a better co-host to have than this guy right here, man. Fellow Sticks brother, man. Joseph Staub, man. How are you doing, brother?
Doing great, Jerry. Thanks for inviting me to accompany you on this journey through Styx. I'm very excited. Styx is one of my favorite bands, so I'm really excited to be able to talk about nothing but Styx.
Exactly. I mean, I could talk all day, but I mean, I just love this band, man. I mean, what's your history, man? What made you get into this band?
Yeah, I have a very long history with Styx. I was very lucky enough to have two parents growing up that are very into music, especially classic rock music. And so I don't really ever remember a time in my life without Styx. We had um, Pieces of Eight on cassette. We listened to that nonstop in my mom's car. She had a cassette deck in her car. We listened to that album nonstop. We had the Classics Volume 15 CD,
Yeah.
the A&M Classic Series, all the purple covers and stuff. We had that on CD, and my dad had a CD player in his car, so we listened to that in his car. We listened to Pieces of Eight in my mom's car. And then probably when I was around 5 or 6, my dad finally got his turntable fixed. He had a turntable in the house, but we couldn't use it. The needle had broken before I was born, and that was around that time where vinyl hadn't quite come back yet. So
Mhm.
needles were very hard to find. In the dawn of the internet, uh, just past dial up, my dad found someone online that was selling the kind of needles that we needed for our turntable. So he purchased a couple needles, fixed up the turntable. He brought out his bag of old records, and in that bag, he had The Grand Illusion and Paradise Theater on vinyl. And so that was the first time I got to experience those two albums in full. And they've become two of my absolute favorite albums of all time. Clearly, from the shirt that I'm wearing, you can see that The Grand Illusion is probably my favorite Styx album. And I'm extremely excited this August to be able to go see them play the entire album live for the first time in my life, that I'll be seeing that. So I have a very long history of the Styx. I'm sure as we go through album by album throughout this show, that some of those memories will come up, different songs I'll talk about,
Hmm.
some different things in my life that those songs make me think of. But yeah, I was brought up on Styx basically. So they, from a very young age, have always been one of my absolute favorite bands.
Awesome. Yeah, when they say like this band is in my DNA, I mean, I really mean Styx is in my DNA, man. I grew up in Cincinnati as a kid, and you idolize your older siblings, and I idolized my older sisters, because they were cool. I mean, actually, they were smoking and drinking, and I thought that was kind of cool back then. You know how us rockers are. But there's a station called Q102 that used to play everything that the hits off Paradise Theater all the time, the best of times, too much time on my hands, rocking the Paradise, Snowblind. I just think I said Snowblind. But anyway, I just love those songs so much. And I remember going over to my sister's apartment, man, and she had this album, and it was just so cool to look at the visual. I mean, the gatefold here. And what really blew my mind and still blows my mind to this day is this right here, man. I mean, I know every Styx fan knows about this, but I can't stop showing it. I don't know if you could see it very well on there on my camera, but
Yep, you can see it.
there it is. That was like the coolest thing ever, man. I mean, seriously, it was. And I just love this album, man. And uh, from then, I just took it from there. I remember trading my sister High and Dry Def Leppard cassette for the Grand Illusion cassette. So that's how much I really started liking this band. So I've seen them so many times in concert. I've seen them 20. I've been stuck on 23 for a few years now. I was going to go see them this year because of the Grand Illusion, but yeah, unfortunately, its ticket sales weren't selling very well here in Franklin, Tennessee. So looks like unless I drive up to Kentucky if I want to do it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but man, I'm telling you, dude, I love these. I never got to see all five guys together, the five classic lineups, man. I got to see the first time was the Edge of the Century tour, which of course Glenn Burtnick was there. And he kind of got mixed reviews from people. I saw a few middle fingers when he started singing Tommy songs, but I thought he did good, man. And then, of course, they did Brave New World was their next album, and they were all, they're all together, well, except for John, of course.
Well, Return
But
to Paradise before that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The tour, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that and the Grand Illusion tour they did together. But the Brave New World tour, I get to see them with Tommy, but without Dennis for that album. So I never got to see them touring as far as an album together as a band, but I got to see all five of the classic members though. And yeah, man, I've been wanting to talk about this band for so long, and I'm just glad that we're doing this together, man. I really am. But
Yeah, me too.
like I said, fuck, man, I'm so excited. I'm trying to contain my excitement by being calm here, but man, I'm loving what we're doing. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope people like it. But Joseph, man, some new
Yeah.
news about Styx, man. What's
Yeah,
up?
we came on at a really good time here to start this
Yeah.
show. Like we picked the perfect week to start this show with all the news and announcements that have been going on the past few days. There have been rumblings for a while. There was talk, I think, on one of the cruises earlier this year. Lawrence Gowan had made some comments about the new album coming out. They've been talking about it for a couple of years ever since the last album came out. They were going to do another one, and then couple weeks ago, their logo on all of their social media changed to just like a plain color. So everyone's starting to think, okay, there's teasing something here. They announced they were going to do a live stream on Talk Shop Live a couple days ago. And on that stream, they announced their new album, Circling from Above. It'll be coming out in a little bit of a weird stagger. We can kind of talk about that here. But they also announced and released the first single, Build and Destroy, uh, pretty much in pretty succinct time to start their tour that they're doing right now, the Brotherhood of Rock tour. They're headlining. Kevin Cronin and some of the other former members of REO Speedwagon are going on before them, and then Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles, is opening up. They're doing the entire Grand Illusion album, as I mentioned, and then some hits. And I was surprised. Last night was the first show of the tour. They played the new single, Build and Destroy. So I'm excited that they're doing that. But one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about, I've never seen an album release kind of go like this before. They announced the album on
Talk
Tuesday
Shop. Talk
on
Shop
Talk
Live.
Shop
Yeah.
Live. They put it up for pre-order, so you could go pre-order. They actually have it pretty cool where you can pre-order the CD. It'll be signed by all seven members, and it's only $13.98 plus shipping, which is actually a pretty fair price for all those autographs. Um, but then I saw some pictures from the merch booth yesterday. They also announced it on their Facebook page, I think, that you can actually buy the CD right now at any of the shows. So starting last night through all of the dates of the tour, you can buy the CD for right now, not like a pre-order or anything. You can actually buy the CD right now at the shows. The pre-orders won't be coming out until the end of June, and it won't be released digitally on all of the digital platforms until the middle of July. So it's kind of a little bit of a weird kind of staggered release, especially for a band that's on a major label. It's not like it's their private label or anything.
Yeah.
This is still a Universal Records album. I've never quite seen something like this before where it's kind of you can buy the CD at their live show, but the pre-orders aren't coming out for a month, and then it's not going to be streaming for another month after that. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, it's kind of like maybe to whet your appetite. Come to the show, and you can get the CD. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
That is different. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I went and got the autograph. I'll wait
yeah,
for it. You
I
know
did
what
the
I
same
mean?
thing. Yeah,
I'd rather have the autograph one anyway. But
I do think
yeah,
I saw somebody say that the ones that they're selling at the shows are autographed.
or are they really?
Yeah,
Wonder if they're going for the same price.
that
But
I don't know. That I don't
yeah.
know.
But oh man, I might have to drive up to Kentucky if I don't get it before then. Man, I forget when the tour dates are here in this area. I live in Tennessee. Um, I don't know. It's making me want to go because the curiosity of
Hmm.
of this whole CD release thing kind of really piques my interest. So I am looking forward to it.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so let's see what we're going to do today. We're going to kind of get our feet wet a little bit as far as the show goes. Do a little. This is kind of a mini pre-opening show, but we're going to do some content. We're going to be doing top 10 songs that we wish. Well, yeah, as fans, we wish they would put in their set list, but the majority of mine, there's no way in hell they're going to ever put on their set list again. But it'd be fun to talk about, um, this imaginary, because there's no way they're going to be doing Wood and Nickel songs ever. I mean, they don't even do the Wood and Nickel version of Lady anymore. They do the Lady 95 version of it. But anyway, this is going to be fun to talk about, man. So let's get started on that, man. Joseph, man, what do you got for your first one? You like to see on the set list, man?
Yeah, so I'm really excited with this concept because as any fan of a really in-depth fan of a band, we kind of obsess over what they play live. And I know in the past we've kind of talked a little bit about how Styx in the past few years has kind of gotten into a little bit of a rut with their set lists. They've been playing a lot of the same stuff. They might add one or two new songs every tour, or they'll add some stuff from their recent albums. And then of course right now they kind of blew our whole idea out of the water by playing the whole Grand Illusion.
Right.
But these are some songs uh, of my 10. I've only seen one of them live. Um, I've been seeing Styx pretty consistently since 2018. I saw them on the Mission tour in 2018, and then I've seen them every year since COVID. So I saw them in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and now I'll be seeing them again this year. So none of the rest of these songs are songs that they have played in that time period. So it's been a good, decent break for most of these songs. So these are songs that I'd like to see uh, put back into the set list. And I'm actually going to start out my list with one that hasn't been played in full since 1977. And we can kind of discuss possibly why some of these songs aren't being played live. I
Right.
have a theory. Um, Unfortunately, that theory is that JY is not doing great. Um, and that's kind of why Will Evankovich is playing with them on
Yeah.
stage. And that's why JY really only sings Miss America. So, um, but the one I'm opening up with is the opening track from the Crystal Ball album, Put Me On.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Looking back on Setlist FM, my favorite website of all time. This song was only played live a few times in 76 and 77 in full. And then they brought it back as part of the Cyclo medley in the early 2000s, where they played a bunch of different songs, little pieces of
Yeah.
songs together. That was the only time since the Crystal Ball tour that they've actually played any part of Put Me On. So that's one I'd
Yeah.
love to see them bring back.
I remember that because they said that Todd Zuckerman was the one that came up with that concept of
Yes.
doing that. I remember that. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
cool
Cause,
show. It was Peter Frampton and I think Nelson, just the Nelson
oh,
brothers
wow.
were a part of that show. I believe that's the one if I remember right. Yeah, it was a good show though. That's a good fucking song, dude. So that's a great pick. Um, a couple of them I've seen them play, um, but the majority of them I don't think they're ever going to play. They didn't even play this song on the Cyclorama tour when I saw them, and it's probably their only hit off that album. And I'm gonna pick that as my number 10, Waiting for Our Time to Come, man. Love that song, dude. It's such a catchy tune. It's got a great chorus, classic Tommy Shaw written song, heavy, heavy and slow. It's got everything you need as far as a stick song. And I like Cyclorama. I mean, we'll talk more about it when the album comes along, but that's pretty much an album where nobody, they don't dismiss it, but they don't really go back to it, every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's a good album. And yeah, so I have no problem with that album. No problem with that album or that song. I really enjoy that song. So that's my number 10, man. What do you got?
All right. So my next pick is the only song on my list that I have seen them play live, and it was played live the first time that I saw them. And that is probably my favorite track on the Mission, Radio Silence. Um,
Yeah,
they played that live when I saw them on the Mission tour. They played quite a few songs on the Mission when I saw them live, which I was very happy to hear. Really love that album, and I wish they would bring some songs back from it other than Lawrence's keyboard solo.
right.
Um, that's the only thing that they still play off that album live. I wish they'd bring back a song or two from that album, especially with how well regarded it has been by the fans.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I saw that tour again. Another great tour that was, man. I think that was it was the REO and REO was co-headlining with them, I think, during that one, if I remember right. At least my show was.
The show I saw was Joan Jett and Tesla.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I mean, my memory's going. I'm old. I've seen them
Uh,
so many times, so it's like, it's kind of hard to remember who
two of
did
the
what.
times that I saw them on Crash of the Crown was with REO.
Maybe
I'm not
that's it.
sure what I know. Yeah, the when I saw them in 2021 and 2022, it was with REO.
Okay. Maybe. No, it was before that. So I think it definitely was Ario. I mean, maybe it wasn't the mission per se, but it was definitely one of those tours. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, they tour. You
Oh,
got a good
they play with
chance.
REO so
Yeah,
much.
you get a good chance of seeing them 2 or 3 times a year wherever you're at. So
Yeah.
sometimes I could probably get the days the openers or not openers but co-headliners mixed up. But that's a another fucking cool team, dude. Um, all right, my next one is off their Equinox album, man. Midnight Ride, man. Cool tune, man. It had that classic. It was kind of building that bridge between the Wood and Nickel till their current song on Grand Illusion. It was that type of song, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
mixes it and kind of blends it into what they're going to become. And the last album featured the great John Sierlewski, rest in peace. We'll be talking about him probably more as our shows go on. But man, what a great tune. Good hard rock and stuff. I don't think they've ever done that song. I've seen them live. I'm sure they've done
Mm-hmm.
it in the past, but I've never seen them do that song
It
live.
was part of the cyclomedley.
Was it? I can't remember that either. They did
Yeah.
like 20, 25 songs. So your memory's probably better than mine anyway, but I love that song, dude. I love that album. I love that song. So I had to put that on my list.
Yeah,
All right. So what do you get?
they
Go.
did the chorus because I know you can go on YouTube because they also did it at the show they did with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra. They did the medley.
See, that's
Um
one thing I've never seen was a contemporary youth orchestra thing yet. I know that people talked about
yeah.
it, said it was awesome,
Yeah,
but I've
I really
never.
enjoyed it. But they did the medley at
Yeah,
that show too, and Midnight Ride. They at least did the chorus of Midnight
gotcha.
Ride in that. Um, but yeah, my next pick off another album that they kind of ignore a little bit, and probably for not good reason, but there's a reason why they do, and that is the title track off Brave New World.
Mhm.
Um, an album that the lineup that made the album wasn't even the lineup that toured for the album.
Right.
So they really don't play much of any of the songs off that album. They played the song Brave New World consistently in 2000 and 2001, and they haven't played it since 2008. They played it a couple times in the years after 2001, but haven't played it at all since 2008. So that's what I'd love to see them bring back.
Yes. Good tune. Again, one of those albums I think flies underneath the radar. It's a really good album, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
great pick on that one. Uh my next one is going back to the Wood and Nickel days on this one off their debut album, Best Thing. Love that tune, man. I tell you what, that second side, well, we'll talk about that. It's such a burner off that debut album, man. Just love Dennis's voice in that one. I love the beat of it, and there's zero chance in hell they'll ever play that song live again. Not even in a medley, probably. But I think it's a great song, and if you're not into the Wood and Nickel era of Styx, man, you guys should because it's great music.
And you
Um,
can get it for fairly cheap. They have it all on
exactly.
CD,
Yeah.
all on a 2 disc CD for like $10 on
Yeah.
Amazon. So if you've never heard these four albums, they make it easy for you.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's good music, man. It's more proggy probably than their. I mean, they still remain progressive over the years, but they were really proggy back then, and
Yeah.
I thought that, and they were kick-ass albums. So that's my next pick is Best Thing off their debut album.
All right. So my fourth pick, this is a song that they actually have played pretty consistently, but not in the last 10 years. And again, it goes back probably to JY. Which funnily enough, the first time I saw Styx in 2018, when they did Light Up, he sang it. But every
Yeah,
tour I've seen him on since, Gowan's singing it now. So I think that one is pretty much what cements it for me that JY is just doing, not to say the bare minimum it shows, but he's taken it a little bit easier than he was uh, in the 2010s, just from especially from a vocal standpoint.
yeah,
Um, but a song that they haven't played pretty much at all in the last 10 years, that they played quite a bit before that, is Snowblind. Um, that's one that I would kill to see them play live. One of my
yep,
all-time favorite Styx songs. Never seen them play it. They played it very consistently on the Paradise Theater tour and the Kilroy Was Here tour. They played it quite a bit in the 2000s. Uh, and then they really haven't played it at all in the last 10 years. So that's one that I would love to see them bring back to their
yeah,
shows.
yeah. I remember seeing them. They actually did that on the Edge of the Century and the Return to Paradise tour. I thought that was pretty awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great song, dude. You know what? That didn't make my list, and it should have because it's an amazing song. I don't know why I must have forgot about that one. But my next song is off the Crystal Ball album, and it's Shoes, Shoes, a really hard rocking Tommy song, man. Love that song. Rock and roll shoes. It's a killer. I love the beginning, that bluesy little riff that's involved in
Mm-hmm.
it. Again, it's a song. I think they might have done that in the medley too,
Yes.
if I remember right. I do remember that when I saw it.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Crystal Ball, as we'll talk about in the future, it was the one thing I want to say about it now. I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's amazing you give the new member that much range on their
Yeah.
first album, man. They gave Tommy like free reign on that album, dude, and
Well,
he
yeah,
made the album.
their biggest hit of that entire era was a
Yeah,
Tommy song.
yeah, and definitely. You know what? I'm gonna get shit for this probably, but guitar wise, I thought John Sterlewski was a better guitar player. I know I'm gonna
Probably.
get shit for that. I just loved his riffs and his acoustic sound back then. And Tommy rules, don't get me wrong. But as a fan of Styx, when I listen, and as a guitar player, when I hear John's stuff, man, it's like it's technical. It's some of it's actually kind of difficult. And Tommy's is cool. Tommy's is rocking. But if I had to prefer a better guitarist, I think John C would probably be better than Tommy. And I know I'm going to get a lot of shit from that from people, but oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Uh, but
It's I agree with you probably though. I always think of Tommy more as a vocalist than I think of his guitar stuff, honestly.
yeah,
Other than like some acoustic stuff, I mainly think of him more as a vocalist, and then
right.
just kind of. I mean, he definitely does some solos and stuff,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I associate JY more with the guitar stuff than Tommy.
Yeah,
And of course, back in the day when they had JC in the band, I mean, he was doing some amazing stuff. Even if you only heard Equinox, if you haven't heard any
yeah,
of the Wood and Nickel stuff, there's some amazing guitar work on that album.
yeah,
So I think that people just don't know him enough to give him credit.
right.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
If they knew the Wood and Nickel stuff, if they listened to Equinox more, hell, I think there are probably people out there that think Tommy was on Equinox that
yeah,
if that aren't diehard fans of Styx
right.
that don't know there was anybody before Tommy, that they just think
Mm.
Tommy was always in the band. Um, but I definitely I'd probably agree with you guitar wise. I think that Sir Lusky was better as a guitar player.
Yeah, and I was that's why I was kind of hesitant about saying that. I was kind of should I bite my lip and not say it, but sometimes my mouth thinks before my brain catches up. But I'm glad you agree with me on that one. But anyway, Shoes, that's a great, cool rocking tune from Tommy off Crystal Ball was my pick.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they haven't brought that back in the set
Yeah.
list. If especially in the years where Tommy's kind of taken a pretty strong showing on the sets. I'm really surprised that that's not one that they brought back, just especially as an upbeat song, because a lot of the songs Tommy will do are more stuff like Boat on the River, Fooling Yourself, Man in the Wilderness. I mean, he has Blue Collar Man, he has Renegade, but I would think that they would at least on a tour have brought Shoes back as a full song, but they never have. But that would
Yeah.
definitely be one that I would love to see them do. Or if you ever see Tommy on a solo tour, I'd love to see him pull that one out.
And I get it. They got to do the hit. They got to do
Yeah.
Lady. They got to do Come Sail Away, Renegade, Too Much Time. I get that, but throw some nuggets in there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we love what you're doing, but just
So
give us a nugget
the
every now and then.
one thing that I was very surprised with on this tour is that even with them playing the full Grand Illusion and having to cut a lot of the hits,
Hmm.
they're still fucking doing Roboto.
Yeah, well, yeah,
They wouldn't play it for 30 years and now it hasn't left the set.
yeah,
Ever since I've been seeing them, they've played it every single damn. I think they've played it at every single show for the last 7 or 8 years now. And for 30 years, they wouldn't touch it with a pole
all
except for
right,
in the medley. And now they won't leave it alone.
all right. Well, I mean, it was a hit from them, and people
Yeah,
probably love it. The mild Sticks fan, even some of the hardcore fans, like Roboto. But
yeah. I
that's
was
probably
just
why that.
surprised
Yeah,
as a show where they had to cut stuff,
right,
where they're doing the Grand Illusion, which has a lot of hits on it. They're doing, of course, Renegade and Blue Collar Man, the two songs from Pieces of Eight that'll never leave the set. They're doing I'm surprised they kept Best of Times in too,
Yeah, I
which
saw that.
they brought back last tour, which I loved seeing that last year.
Mhm.
They kept that in. Um,
Too much time.
Too much time. They always have to play Rock in the
Yeah,
Paradise. They always have to play
yeah,
Lady. They always have to play. But they kept Rivato in. I'm like,
yeah.
uh,
It is what it
it
is.
is what it is.
That's all I can say about that. I mean, it's definitely probably the song that, ended Styx probably,
Oh,
but
definitely. It
well,
definitely was.
ended the classic lineup of Styx anyway.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but I
But
kind I
anyway,
would
that was we're on a tangent now. But
yeah. I
what
mean,
were you gonna say?
I wouldn't be disappointed if they somehow dropped that song out of the set list
Yeah,
and put.
if they kind of eased that one out a little bit,
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, back to good stick songs. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I like Bravado, but my next pick is one that they played on the tour for this album, and then brought it back when they played the whole album live about 10 years ago, and they played it for a couple of tours around that, but they haven't played it at all in the last 10 years, and that is "I'm Okay" off Pieces of Eight.
Hmm.
One of my favorite songs off Pieces of Eight. Very underrated song, even from the people that talk about deeper cuts on Pieces of Eight. They'll usually go to a couple that I think Jerry's going to talk about. They'll
Yeah, I got a
go
couple.
to Great White Hope. They'll go to the title track. But you really don't hear a lot of people talk about "I'm Okay," and I love the harmonies on that. I love the messages. I mean, it's great message of us for a song. The lyrics are good. That's one I'd love to see them bring back. I'm really hoping that if they're doing Grand Illusion this year, that they might do Pieces of Eight next year.
Yeah,
They
that
may.
would.
I'd love to see them do
Yeah,
that. Now that I've made it a tradition to see Styx every year, gives me another reason to go see them.
right.
But so that's one I could definitely see them bringing it back because honestly, I think it fits Gowan's voice pretty well.
Mhm.
Um, it's one where it's not Dennis jumping up into really high notes or anything. And it fits it if you listen to the Grand Illusion Pieces of Eight live concert, it fits Gowan's voice pretty well. So I could definitely see them bringing that one back.
Yeah, that was cool as hell. That Grand Illusion Pieces of Eight tour. Man, I would have loved to have seen. I got the DVD of it, man. I
Yeah,
watched it quite often. It's a cool concert. But yeah, that's a good song. Um, my next pick is again another one off Crystal Ball, a Tommy song, Mademoiselle, man. I think they've done that song a couple times when I've seen them live. I can't remember. I think they did it in 2015. They were supposed to do a show with the symphony here in Nashville. But that night they had an ice storm. I mean, you could literally skate from the arena to your car. Yeah, that's how slippery it was after the show. But it was like 100 people made it because the weather was so bad they couldn't make it. The orchestra couldn't make it because they didn't want to risk them coming there. So it was such an intimate concert, seeing them with like 100 people. Everybody was welcome to come up to the front of the stage, and it was so cool to see them in that atmosphere. And they did chunks of that in the Zell. Tommy did Girls with Guns, pieces from that, all kinds of great songs that they would never do on a regular set. And that was, super cool. One of the best shows I've actually seen from them just because of that. It would have been cool to see them with the symphony, but it didn't happen. But it was still a great show. But and Mademoiselle, I think, is a great Tommy vocal, great catchy tune. So I had to put that on my list. So that's my next one. Mademoiselle off Crystal Ball. What do
awesome.
you got?
My next pick is a song that I actually have some issues with the studio version, but I've always loved how it sounds live. And that is Borrowed Time off Cornerstone. I have expressed my thoughts in the past on several
Yes.
shows that I'm
Yes.
not a huge
No.
fan of that particular part of the song. Or look out, here comes the 80s.
Yeah.
Um, but I love the way they do it live, even back on the Cornerstone and Paradise
Mm.
Theater tours from the bootlegs you can see on YouTube. They added a little bit more heaviness to it when they did it live. And I really like how they did it live. Um, and they even brought it back around 2010 or so. They actually started out their shows with it. They'd open it up with kind of a little bit of a different version of a medley where they'd open with the first couple verses of Borrowed Time and then go into like the riff from Superstars and pieces, the
Yeah.
solo from Pieces of Eight, and then back into Borrowed Time to close it out. Um, which would be something I'd love to see them do now because that's one that they haven't done really since 2010. But one thing that I really enjoyed, they changed it up a little bit because that's a Dennis song on the album. It was a Dennis song when they played it live in 79 and 80. But when they did it live in 2010, Tommy sang it. It wasn't Gowan that sang it. It was Tommy that sang it. I thought it fit Tommy's voice really well. I really liked hearing Tommy sing it. So I'd love to hear them bring it back, hear Tommy singing again. Just because it's one that I really don't go to the studio version that much. And I wish it was on a live album, but it's
Yeah,
not. So I would love to see them play it live just to hear that version of it.
right. I love how that song was it that riff. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun. I mean, it's just a really cool introduction to that album, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
The riff is.
the riff is, yeah. I was trying to say it nicely without saying anything bad about the yeses and nos of that song, which actually never bugged me before, but I can see how it can bug some people. But that's just Dennis,
Yeah.
Ed and Dennis to a song. But that's a great song, man. Absolutely. And my next song is another Tommy song, and they have done this quite a few times when I've seen them. They did it on the symphony, well, the supposed symphony tour, is Lights. They have done that song a few times in them. It's one of my favorite songs by them. They could bring it back every 3 years. I think they could. That's that. I think it's that good of a song. I know the majority of Styx fans will know that song, man.
Yes.
I think so. And I think it's a really cool, mellow to moderate rock song, man. And again, Tommy shines on the vocals in that one. Just a killer tune, man. Absolutely love that song.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
my
one
next
I'd
one.
love to see live. That
Yeah.
before you shared your list with me to make sure we didn't have any of the same, that was one that was on my list as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So just a really, really great song. Possibly my favorite song off that album. Um, but just a really good song. I'd love to see them play because they definitely still could, because like you said, they have brought it back a few times,
Yeah.
not recently though, so I'd love to see them bring that one back.
Yep.
All right, my
All
next
right.
pick is one from an album that you already mentioned, uh and that is the Cyclorama album, and that is the song that they named the tour after, the song that they named the show they did with the youth orchestra after, and that is One with Everything. They played that probably more than any other song from Cyclorama, but they haven't really played it at all since like 2010. So that's one that I'd love to see them bring back, just to represent that era, because it's an era that I would love to see them give a little bit more love to. Um, Unfortunately, with a band like Styx that usually plays, especially recently in the 2010s, they were doing quite a bit of shows where they would do like two sets. They would do like 20 couple songs.
Right.
But ever since COVID, especially, it's really just been like a 16-song set list. And I really think that that does their catalog some disservice, because every time they put out a new album, they cut out practically everything else that's come out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
They'll just play songs off that. When they did The Mission, they only played songs off The Mission. When Crash of the Crown came out, they cut everything from The Mission. They only played songs from Crash of the Crown. Now they're going to do that with the new album. They already did it with the single. They cut everything from Crash of the Crown out of the set list. And I think it's unfortunate that they've done that with Brave New World and Cyclorama as well. And even Edge of the Century. They don't play anything off Edge of the Century.
No.
um, Up until when they added Roboto back in. Literally, they pretty much didn't play anything after Paradise Theater except for whatever was the newest album. And I
Right.
think that's unfortunate. There's a lot of bands that do stuff like that, but I think that Styx, especially, that has such a deep catalog of music, especially with so many songs that they have to play live, it just does a disservice to them when they only play an hour and 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially when they almost every show you see them do is a co-headlining show. So they're going to play a shorter set. They're only going to play 15 or 16 songs, and they're not going to play anything, pretty much anything on our list, because
Right.
it's songs that they're not going to bring out for a shorter set like that. So I'd love to see them give a little bit more time for some of their albums from the early 2000s, especially with how well received the last few albums have been. I think it would get people to go back and listen to those albums maybe that hadn't listened to them before.
I think I fall back to what I said before. I don't think people, the moderate fan, which makes up the majority of the crowd, it really does. They want to hear the hits. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they have time to really play a lot of their newer songs, unfortunately, because
Yeah.
I notice sometimes when they're doing a new song or a song that wasn't a hit, people just walk to the bathroom, concession stands, not even paying attention
Hmm.
to it. And like it's like I think it was you that mentioned they were doing that during Man in the Wilderness or something. I think that was you that mentioned that, or
No,
was that
no,
it
they
was
weren't walking out during Man in the Wilderness,
it was
thankfully.
Chris or somebody
I
said
think it
that
might have
people
been Chris.
were walking out, going to the bathroom and not even paying attention to that song, and he was like, "What the hell are you guys doing? This is a great song, man."
Yeah. No, if I would have seen people walking out during Man in the Wilderness at the show I saw last year, I think I probably would have went and guarded the doors. Ain't nobody
Right?
getting out. Ain't
You're gonna
nobody
listen to
getting out.
this.
You are gonna go sit down and enjoy this because they don't play this song a lot. You're gonna sit down and like it.
And that song was always giving me goosebumps when I hear it. It's such a beautiful song, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it is. I wish it would have been a hit, man. I don't know
Yeah.
why they couldn't release it as a single, or if they try. I don't know. They only released the four off. They what? Grand Illusion, Fooling
Miss
Yourself, Come
America.
Sail Away, and Miss America. That's pretty much the four standards they
Well,
put
that's
out
half
on
the
it.
album.
Pretty much, yeah,
That's literally half the album.
yeah. I mean, it's a great assist album, but when we get to that album, we'll talk more about it. Everybody, all Styx fans know what a great album it is, so we're not really, saying anything new about it right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is a shame about the newer era songs, but I don't, like I said, on it, and they're getting old. I mean, I think
Yeah.
JY's got to be close to 80.
Probably.
Him and Chuck got to be up there. Well, of course, Chuck is. I mean, actually, I haven't seen him the last couple times. The last time I saw him, he came on more.
Yes.
He came on,
Yeah.
did three or four songs with them.
When
You used to
I
come on doing "Fooling Yourself," and that was it.
hmm He's been at the last couple times I've seen them. He wasn't at the show in September last year that I saw the smaller theater show. He wasn't there. I'm pretty sure he was at M3 when they headlined M3. But the couple times before that, he has been coming out. He'll do "Fooling Yourself." He'll do "Renegade." He'll do "Come Sail Away." He and Gowan even do that little "Lost at Sea" before "Come Sail
Right.
Away" together. So like they were starting to include him a little bit more, which is surprising, especially with a global pandemic going on. But
Right.
that they were including him more, which is really nice to see. Um, I would love to see. I know it probably will never happen, but them to just do one show somewhere like Chicago, do a whole show with him and film it.
Yeah.
Um, and especially, I thought they might have had the opportunity to do that last year, when Ricky Phillips retired. Um, but now
Gallant's brother.
they brought in Gowan's brother, which when I saw them last year, he did a great job with them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that the time is definitely running out for them to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll tell you what, for a band like Styx to still be headlining amphitheaters and stuff, there's not a lot of bands around that can still do that and sell this many tickets. And I mean, unfortunately, we saw this year with the show you were looking at going
Mhm.
to that the bloom might be off the rose a little bit just because of how much they tour. I mean,
Exactly.
they are constantly going to the same venues every year. Um, but I think that for them to even be in the position to still sell out a lot of those venues
Mhm.
at their age and in the kind of concert climate that we're in right now is a testament to them as a band because there's not a lot
Yeah.
of bands that can sell the amount of tickets that they do from that era.
And still sound that good. I
Oh
mean,
my
they
god,
sound
yes.
freaking incredible, man.
Yes.
Tommy is going to live to be at 120. He's going to sound the same, man. He's going to
Yeah.
look the same and sound the same as he did back in the 70s. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. At first I was kind of skeptical of why they added Will to the live set anyway. But I would rather have the sound be by live musicians than
Mm-hmm.
tapes any day of the week. So, and I admit I had trouble with Will, being a bigger part of the band. I mean, he pretty much wrote the Mission, Crash, and then I heard he's doing this whole album as well.
And
I was like,
I heard he's singing.
oh, okay, cool.
I from what I saw on their website, Tommy Gowan and Will wrote the whole album together.
Yeah. Okay.
JY had
But
nothing to do with it.
yeah, JY, I think he even admitted, I think Mark told me that he pretty much is checked out and is just being lazy now,
Yeah.
enjoying the rest of the ride. But I think he's doing Styx justice with his
Yes.
writing. Isn't like they're not sounding any different. They still have that classic Styx sound, if not more,
Mm-hmm.
with from the Mission Crash and then the new song so far. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, that's classic stick sound. And I was hesitant about that. I was like, dude, what are they doing? They don't need this guy. But then I'm like, he's doing a good job with it. Why am I bitching about it? Why can't I just
Yeah.
enjoy it? And I have since then, So
To me, it's very similar to what Zach Risby and Tom Brislin have done with Kansas over the last 10
right.
years. They infused a band that's been around forever with
Hmm.
some new songwriting life. I mean, if it weren't for Will, we probably wouldn't have even had another Styx album.
Good
I
point.
mean, that Tommy's talked about that working with Will on his solo stuff was what made him even want to record a new Styx album.
Right.
Was when he started writing with Will, he's like, I got to bring this to the band. I got to work with Will with the rest of the band. And he saw that on the mission that like that was such an energized album that like you
Yes.
could tell they were excited about that. And I think that it's a very similar thing to what's happened with Kansas. The last two albums that Kansas put out is it's faithful to their sound, but it sounds light years better than any band their age has the right to sound.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I apologize, Will. I know you're not listening, but if by some chance you are, I was critical of you at first, but man, I accept you in open arms now, man. Thank you for keeping the classic Styx sound alive, man. And for coming out with new albums, helping them come out with new albums too, because you know. All right, my next track is off the great album Styx 2, a JY written song and sung. I'm gonna make you feel it. Man, again, JY was such a critical part of the vocals back in those days, in What a Nickel days, and I thought his voice was awesome, and it fits songs like this perfectly, man. It's a short, rocking tune. It's the finale on the album. It's a perfect finale for that album, and it's classic JY, hard, heavy, and that dirty vocal he always delivers, man. Dirty, low, intense vocal he always delivers, man. Great song, man. So I had to put that one on my list as well.
Yeah, that's a great one. And if for people that don't know those Wood Nickel albums, on some of those albums, JY was more of the lead singer than
Yeah.
Dennis was.
Yep.
But Dennis
Exactly.
sang Lady. So
Yep.
everyone people think of Dennis. Dennis had the hit. So
Yep.
Dennis started having more and more of a role in uh vocals and songwriting. And then especially when you add Tommy into the mix, it dilutes the pool a little bit more. And then eventually, as you see by the time you get into the 80s, JY only has one or two songs on an album. But usually, I mean, if you look at some of those albums, they're usually the best songs on the album.
Pretty much.
If you look at Cornerstone, Paradise Theater, and even Kilroy, the JY songs are where it's at.
Yep. All right, Heavy Metal Poisoning, man. It was
Mm-hmm.
such a gem off Kilroy was here,
Yep.
man. I mean, it was a great fucking song. All right, man. So what do you got?
Honestly, Heavy Metal Poisoning, it's not on my list, but that's one I'd love to see them bring back just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
Like
right.
just to do it because no one would ever expect it. And I feel like they'd have fun with it, but
Yeah.
who knows? All right, my next song off the Equinox album is one that they very rarely played even back in the 70s, and that is Born for Adventure.
Ooh, man.
Great deep cut off Equinox. They played it very sporadically, 75 through 78, and have not played it once since.
No.
So I think that would be one that, especially if you made a set for diehards where you cut out the hits, the songs we've seen them play 20 times, and you just have a set list chock full of deep cuts, that would be one that I think would be great to surprise people with.
Yeah. It's a great song. Equinox, man. Brilliant album, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish they would do. Oh, they do Lorelei and they do
They
Lights
do
quite
quite a bit
often.
off that album. Yeah, they do Light Up, they
Sweet
do
Madam Blue.
Lorelei, they do Sweet
Yeah,
Madam Blue. Of those earlier albums, that's the one that they have the most representation of
pretty much. Yeah,
usually, because they only ever do Crystal Ball. They don't do anything from the Wood and Nickel years, and then from Grand Illusion on, they do obviously
yeah,
like the full album. But from those first six albums, Equinox is by far the most represented um that they'll do live still.
yeah. I mean, I'm all for putting Sweet Madam Blue on every set. That is such a great song. I saw Dennis on his last tour, man. It
I have
sounded
never seen
amazing.
Styx play Sweet Madam Blue.
Really?
I've seen Styx six times, and I've never seen them
Yeah.
play Sweet Madam Blue.
Wow.
Surprisingly, and I honestly, I'll say, even though I'm going to be seeing it again this year, Sweet Madam Blue was on the set list when I saw them last September. They added two theater shows and they changed the set list up from what they've been doing. Friday night they were playing in Baltimore and they played Sweet Madam Blue. Sunday they were playing in Hershey and it was either right where Sweet Madam Blue was supposed to be or right before it was when they did Man in the Wilderness. So they
Uh,
switched out Sweet Madam Blue for Man in the Wilderness. And at the time, I definitely would have picked Man in the Wilderness. But
oh,
now knowing
mixed
that I'm going to,
emotions on that one.
but now here's my thing though. Now knowing that I'm going to see the whole Grand Illusion album this year, that
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to see it again, I kind of wish then that I would have been able to hear Sweet Madam Blue.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be done. So you might have a
Oh
chance in the
gosh, no,
future.
no.
They'll,
They're going to be around, especially new album coming out. They're going to have to do a tour because this really isn't a tour for the new album. They're
right.
kind of like what Dream Theater just did earlier this year, where they did the 40th anniversary tour.
Right.
Now they're coming back around again in the fall for a tour of the new album. I feel like Styx, as soon as this wraps up, I mean, probably even a winter tour of arenas. Probably they'll
Yeah.
probably do a winter arena tour for the new album.
Yep. Looking forward to that new album, man. I really
Mm-hmm.
am. Um, all right. So what about number three? Sorry, I lost count here.
Yep.
Number three, Sing for the Day. Another mellow, acoustic rocker from Tommy. I love the vocal on that one. One thing I just found out about this, I know his daughter is Hannah, and I thought maybe he named his daughter or put his daughter's name in that song, but it turns out it had nothing to do with his daughter. And I always thought it was. I just
Hmm.
thought I'd throw that in there for some reason. But again, it's just one of those songs that just flow really nice, and Tommy's vocals and the music behind it, Dennis's keyboards, man. It's just a beautiful song, man. And I wish they would bring that back more too. I have seen them do that a couple times, especially I've seen them do that on the symphony, well, supposed symphony tour is what I call it now, but supposed symphony show. I don't know if they did a whole tour about that, but they did a special occasion here in Nashville. But man, what a song that is, man. Beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. This band, man, can write heavy songs, moderate songs, and beautiful slow rockers and ballads. This band just had it all, man. That's one of the things that draws them to them all the time. And that's a perfect example of classic Styx song, in my opinion. So sing for the day.
All right. So my second to last pick here, going off of an album that they don't play anything off of anymore. The title track from Edge of the Century. They played it consistently on the Edge of the Century tour. They played it on the Brave New World tour and have not played it since.
Yeah,
Pretty much, basically, it's been since Glenn Burtnick left the band.
right.
In '03, they have not played it since. That's one I'd love to see them. I'd love to see because he's out doing Styx songs. I'd love to
Yeah,
see them bring him in for a guest spot.
right,
I'd love. I was honestly surprised that when Ricky Phillips left, they didn't bring him back.
right.
I
I
was a
wonder. I wonder
little
if he was even. I
surprised.
wonder if he was asked
Probably
at
not.
all. I don't know. Probably not. But from what I understand, they went away on good terms. I mean, Glenn
Yeah,
just wanted to do
yeah.
something else. So, um,
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe down the line you see that him come back and do something with them.
yeah. I mean, he did so much energy on that Brave New World tour, man. I mean, he would out in the audience singing with people. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
brought an energy to the band that wasn't there before. Actually, there was energy, but there was more energy he added to the band. And I thought that he was a really cool addition. And Edge of the Century is a great song. Love is a Ritual. I really like that song
Yes.
too. I mean, he did some great songs with them. So, great pick on that one, man. All right, my next one is they have done this before in the past a few times, but man, if they did this every tour, I'd be a happy camper, man. I'm talking about Queen of Spades, man. That's probably the song you're talking about earlier. I'd pick off pieces of eight, but
Yes.
man, holy shit, what a burner that song is, man. And
Mm-hmm.
they did that on the Grand Illusion 90s 97 tour. I think they did that. And man, I was front row to that bad boy, man, and just hearing them do that song live was just it was such a childhood dream to see them do that song live, man. Just first of all, it was a childish dream to see Dennis, Tommy, and JY back together, but add songs that they did like Queen of Spades off that just put it over the top, in my opinion, man. And I wish
Yeah.
they would bring that one back more than they do. I know they've done it in the past a few times, but what a song that is, man. So that's my number two.
A song like that is definitely one of the reasons that I am hoping that they do
The Pieces of
Pieces
Eight.
of Eight
Yeah,
full album tour because honestly, I think I've only ever seen them do Blue Collar Man and Renegade. For the past few years, for some reason, they've done Pieces of Eight, but not at shows that I've
Yeah.
seen. They've done Queen of Spades, but not at shows that I've seen. Um, Usually they'll pull those songs out for like their winter tours. Usually I see them in the summer.
Mm,
Uh, when they do their theater slash arena dates, they'll usually pull out some of those the lesser known songs. But when
mm,
they do their summer tours, it's usually just the hits because they're usually co-headlining.
right.
Um, so I'd love to see them do Pieces of Eight because I've only ever seen them do the two big hits.
Yeah. And again, that's such a beautiful song that title track is off that album, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. All right.
All right, closing it
So,
out. My last song, one of my favorite JY songs, one that they haven't played at all since 2002. They played it consistently on the album tour. They played it throughout. They played it on the Brave New World tour. The song that closes out Paradise Theater, Half Penny, Two Penny. Just an absolute epic song. Goes from hard rocking to laid back, and then it has the kind of ballady thing at the end, which they would use. They would, if you watch the Return to Paradise DVD, they use the outro from Half Penny Two
yeah.
Penny at the end of Best of Times,
Yeah.
to play off at the end of the show. Um, but then on Brave New World, they did bring back the whole song. If you listen to like the Styx World Live 2000 CD or anything like that, I think even maybe the one that they did with REO Speedway and the Arch Allies CD, I think it's on there too when they were doing Half Penny, Two Penny live. But that would be one I'd love to see them close out shows with. I know they always close out with Renegade now,
Yeah.
but I'd love to see them close out a show with Half Penny, Two Penny like they did on the Paradise Theater tour.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite songs to end an album ever. I love how it segues into AD 1958 and then,
Mm-hmm.
State Street Stadium at the end. I love how it just goes into that. And you mentioned that song. It's got the really heavy part and it's got the really impactful chorus, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm going to set myself free. I mean, it's just a great song, dude. And since I was going to pick that song too, but I knew you were going to pick that one. I'm going to pull a Mark Allen Taylor quote. He always says that, but I want you to have that one, so that's why I did put it on there. But yeah, man, what a song that is, man. JY songs, like you said, just they were that great change to an album. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Incredible, man. And I hope he's doing well. Like you said, he is getting up there in age, and unfortunately, it's an unfortunate part of life. It sucks, but it happens. But wishing you the best, JY. Hope you're around for another 20 years with the band, dude. And they'll probably be touring by then, so still.
Yes.
But all right. My number one song is the song "Out Brave New World," and happens to be the name of our show. I tell you what, JY songs are great, Tommy songs are great, but when you have Tommy and JY singing a song together, it's fucking magic. And this song is an underrated burner, man. It really is, man. It's heavy, it's rocking, and the best song off Brave New World. It's one of my favorite songs from Styx, actually, believe it or not. And I have quite a few. It always clicked with me. The guitar riff, everything about it just kicked ass, man. So that's why I had to put that one number one I had to put it number one because it is the name of our podcast. So, all right, well, that's our top 10 imaginary, or not imaginary, but wistful songs we would put on their list, man. Um, this is the first song, Jesus, first episode of our podcast or YouTube channel. We're gonna be hoping we are going to be doing some more. God, I'm slipping up my words right now. Sorry, everybody. But this is going to be so much fun, man. I hope you stay tuned. Please feel free to add anything in the comments, any suggestions. Let us know some songs that would like to hear on their set list too. If you got a second, just drop a line on us. But Joseph, man, this is only the beginning, man. We're gonna have so much fun doing this. And I hope that you guys like it out there. This is kind of a short show, kind of getting our feet wet, like I said, but we're going to be doing more and looking forward to this ride, man. And before we go, I want to say thank you to our friend Chris Elio and Redbeard Videos. He's going to be doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, editing, production of our video, and we're really looking forward to partnering with him, man. I think it's going to be a perfect marriage, and looking forward to doing more in the future with him. Joseph, man, anything else you want to say to close it out, man?
Yeah, thank you guys. I know we had quite a bit of buzz heading into this. Some people sharing, liking, subscribing. Please continue to do that. If you know people who are interested in Styx, interested in music, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps our channel out as we're getting started here. We really want to try to get this out to a big audience, just because we know Styx has a big audience that would probably be interested in hearing the stuff we have to say, in hearing people talk about Styx the way that people should talk about Styx, giving Styx the time of day that sometimes I don't think that they get in the
Right.
wider conversation. So
I agree.
please, if you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, all the fun things. Um, Feel free to share our links on social media. We have some pages online that you can go ahead and see there. But please, if you enjoyed this, come back for more. Like Jerry said, we're just getting started. We got a lot of shows here. They got a big discography, studio
Yeah.
albums, live albums, solo albums. We're going to do more stuff like we did here today. Fun lists, fun kind of little side conversations. I know I talked to Jerry about doing our making our own Styx set list sometime, making
Yeah.
our kind of dream tour. So we got all kinds of different ideas. If there's stuff you want to see us talk about, let us know. Like Jerry said, drop a line in the comments. Let us know what you want to hear us say. If you see Styx news, send it our way. If you want to see us cover something particular, let us know. We'll try to fit it into our schedule.
Yep. And thank you guys for jumping aboard the train here, and hopefully it's a good ride for everybody. So peace out, be good to each other, and we'll be back. Heavy Water 77, man. Out.